Yeah, what's been really interesting lately is that we've seen a lot of sell side strategists, in particular, citing the betting odds rather than the polls based forecast. And I think one edge that the betting odds definitely have is that, as people trade, they can more quickly incorporate, every new drip of information or whatever kind of, the vibe shifts that might be a bit harder for a model to quantify. But I think that the flip side of that is that you can more easily have kind of a herding mentality, or maybe it's more easily affected by one-sided bets. Whereas I guess like the polls-based forecasts are more grounded on data, but you really need sort of the trends to be roughly similar to history for that polls-based forecast to really have any insight.
Oh, I love this. We've got a listener saying, can Americans bet on the winner? How does someone do it?
Yes. I mean, Justina can tell you more about it, but Kelsey can let you do it. We are in the Interactive Brokers studio, are we not?
We are.
You can, not that I'm necessarily saying you should, but you can bet on it on Interactive Brokers if you like. And Robinhood, thanks to the CFTC's loss in court, a number of people will let you do it legally, even without getting a VPN and pretending not to be American.
Well, that's why, Justina, in your story, you note that the prediction markets have entered the big leagues with the 2024 presidential vote. I mean, this is kind of new territory for everyone, for investors, for betting, for the betting public here in America.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we're seeing really large volumes, especially compared to before. And one thing that I think is really interesting is, when it comes to financial markets, we always think the more liquidity, the better. And so kind of by that logic, I mean, this year's odds should be especially informative. But at the same time, it's kind of funny because I spoke to an expert, on Friday, and he was saying, maybe pay attention to the smallest market of all, which is predicted, because predicted kind of limits the sizes of your positions. And so you don't really get kind of any of these big whale trades that you get on poly market. And of course, that's kind of a really interesting question now, because predicted is the one platform that's giving even odds to the two candidates at this moment.
And it also, if you look back to the summer, predicted saw Kamala Harris coming a long way before the other prediction markets that were out there. It saw the chance that, I mean, presumably because often the academics who are betting on Predictit are fairly well plugged in with Democratic politics, they got that Joe Biden was likely to have to stand down, and that Kamala Harris would be nigh on unstoppable if he did to get the nomination, far before Polymarket did. So they're not dumb. The other thing that is, if you're trying to produce a prediction, i.e. if you're not hedging your bets, if you're not trying to make money, but you're looking for the public get bet of a good prediction, on Predictit, everybody, including students who are just finishing their PhDs, is worth as much as Elon Musk.